Ooh, that's a bingo!
Is that the way you say it? That's a bingo?
You just say bingo. Bingo! How fun! But I digress. Where were we?
A veteran of German television, practically unknown outside his home country, suddenly found himself at the center of one of the most anticipated Quentin Tarantino films of all time. And the way it happened, nothing short of fate. Imagine working for 30 years in an industry where nobody notices you. You're grinding, taking whatever jobs you can, hoping that one day someone will recognize your talent. Now imagine that one day finally comes, but not just in any way. Imagine a Hollywood legend sitting in front of you, watching as you audition for a role so complex, so layered, that the entire success of the film depends on you nailing it. That's exactly what happened to Christoph Waltz. This is the story of how Christoph Waltz went from struggling actor to two-time Oscar winner, thanks to one role that almost didn't exist.
And the Oscar goes to Christoph Waltz, Django Unchained.
For decades, Christoph Waltz was just another actor in German television and theater. He was good, great even, but greatness alone wasn't enough. He took on minor roles, playing everything from quirky side characters to forgettable extras. And sure, there was work, but recognition, that was a whole other story.
Every actor who plays theater can tell you that when you come off stage one evening and you say, I nailed it. Tonight was the perfect performance. I hit everything that I set out and blah, blah, blah. Chances are at about 99% that the audience was bored.
Producers saw him as a niche performer, someone who could play odd minor roles, but nothing more. In fact, one German TV executive once bluntly said, yeah, you can use him for quirky parts, but that's about it. And that hurt. It wasn't just about ego. It was about years of dedication, passion, and commitment to the craft, with nothing to show for it. Waltz started to believe it. Maybe this was all he'd ever be. Maybe the big break just wasn't coming. But then, in the most unexpected way, everything changed. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, Quentin Tarantino was stuck. He had just written Inglourious Basterds, his ambitious World War II epic.
I really wanted to actually make it a movie. I realized what I would have to do is come up with a new story.
And at the heart of it was Hans Landa, the brilliant, terrifying, multilingual Nazi officer whose presence would dictate the entire tone of the movie.
Gli amici della vedetta ammirata da tutti noi, questa gemma propria della nostra cultura, saranno naturali.
Mit ihrer Geschichte an ihn zur Koordination, wahrlich bemerkenswert.
Deux strudels, un pour moi et un pour la demoiselle. Pour moi, un café serré.
Tarantino knew that if he didn't find the right actor, the movie wouldn't work. And he wasn't finding him. Casting after casting, nothing. He even considered shelving the project altogether because, in his words, if we couldn't find the right Landa, I'd rather just publish the script and move on.
Look, if we can't find the right Landa, I'd rather just publish this script and do something else.
But just as he was about to give up, Christoph Waltz walked in. And within minutes, Tarantino knew he had found his Landa.
We're making a movie.
Christoph Waltz didn't just read for the part. He became Hans Landa. Within minutes, he seamlessly switched between German, English, French, and even Italian, delivering each line with chilling precision. He wasn't just acting, he was embodying the role in a way no one else had. Tarantino and his producers sat there stunned. When the audition ended, Waltz politely thanked them and walked out. And that's when Tarantino turned to his team and said, "He gave me my movie back." It was done. Waltz had not just landed the role, he had saved the film. Hans Landa wasn't your typical villain. He was polite, articulate, even charming, until he wasn't. And that unpredictability made him terrifying. Tarantino knew the key to making the character work was keeping Waltz separate from the other actors. He wanted their reactions to be real when they saw Landa enter a scene. And it worked. In one unforgettable moment, when Landa interrogates a French farmer, the fear in the farmer's eyes, that wasn't acting. That was pure intimidation created by Waltz's unsettling ability to switch from pleasant to predatory in seconds.
Before the occupation, there were 4 Jewish families in this area, all dairy farmers like yourself.
The result? The audience couldn't look away. Critics hailed him as the best thing in the movie. And Hollywood. Well, Hollywood had just found its newest star.
To his creator and the creator of his awe-inspiring world, Quentin Tarantino. And
you are all going to die.
When Inglourious Basterds hit theaters, it was a phenomenon. But one performance stood out above all others. Christoph Waltz as Hans Landa. It wasn't just good, it was legendary. Award after award rolled in. And then, the biggest one of them all, and the Oscar goes to Christoph Waltz. As he stepped onto that stage, holding his Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, it was clear. This wasn't just a win. This was validation for the years of struggle, for the rejections, for the doubt. All of it had led to this moment. If you thought it stopped there, think again. Tarantino knew he had found something special in Waltz, and he wasn't letting it go.
One of the things that I've always really loved about Christoph is he's a wonderful combination of 2 types of actors, and it's rare that you find these 2 types go completely together. At least rare for me. Is on one hand, he is a master thespian, and that's just a given, that's for sure. On the other hand, he's also a toolbox actor. And what I mean by that is he does his work unadorned. He takes his toolbox, he goes to the next job, and he builds that character with his little saws and his little hammers and his little nails from scratch.
A few years later, he approached him with another script, Django Unchained. This time, Waltz wasn't the villain. He was Dr. King Schultz, the bounty hunter with a conscience. The role was written specifically for him. And once again, Waltz delivered. The result? Another Academy Award. Another legendary performance. Another chapter in the incredible story of an actor who Hollywood almost overlooked. Think about this. If Christoph Waltz had given up, if he had believed the people who told him he was only good for quirky minor roles, he never would have met Tarantino. He never would have auditioned. He never would have become Hans Landa. And if Quentin Tarantino had given up on finding the perfect Landa, Inglourious Basterds might never have been made.
Mr. Tarantino.
This story isn't just about an actor getting his big break. It's about a talent meeting opportunity, about the moment preparation meets fate, about how one audition, one role can change everything. So the next time you feel like giving up, just remember, the moment you've been waiting for might be just one opportunity away.